teaching. The pure self is not realized unless the mind subsides. The mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts, and the first and foremost of all thoughts is the primal I thought. Therefore, only through the inquiry, who am I, does the mind subside. To keep the mind constantly turned within and to abide thus in the self is alone self-inquiry. By steady and continuous investigation into the nature of the mind is transformed into that, the self, to which the I refers. That which arises in the physical body as I is the mind. If one inquires whence this I-ness first arises, it will be found that it is the heart. Restraint of the outgoing mind and its absorption in the heart is known as introversion. When the mind becomes absorbed in the heart, the I, or ego, vanishes, and pure consciousness, or self, which subsists during all the states of the mind, alone remains resplendent. This state, where there is not the slightest trace of the I thought, is one's true swarupa, true nature. And that is called quiescence or Mouna, silence, and also true wisdom. The self alone exists, and the self alone is real. The self alone is the world, the I, and God. All that exists is but the manifestation of the Supreme Being. Firm and disciplined inherence in the self does verily constitute self-surrender to the Supreme Lord. Let any amount of burden be laid on him. He doth bear it all. That which is bliss is the self. Bliss and the self are one and identical. And that alone is real. Not even in one of the countless objects of the world is there anything that can be called happiness. This phenomenal world is nothing but thought. When the mind is free from thought, it enjoys the bliss of the self. The mind of the enlightened one never exists apart from the self absolute. Likes and dislikes, love and hatred, are equally to be eschewed. It is not proper to let the mind rest often on the objects or affairs of mundane life. If the ego subsides, all else will also subside. The deeper the humility with which we conduct ourselves, the better it is for us. Everything that is offered to others is really an offering to oneself. Not to desire anything extraneous to oneself is true dispassion, vairagya. Not to give up one's hold on the self is jnana, or enlightenment. Thus, dispassion and jnana are really one and the same. Pledged to dispassion or disinterestedness, every aspirant must dive deep into himself and realize the precious Atman, the self-absolute. God and Guru are one. He that has earned the grace of the Guru shall undoubtedly be saved and never forsaken. But the disciple, for his part, should follow the path shown by the Master. These teachings were culled from Sri Bhagavan's, one of his original works, Who Am I?